At the boo, Grand Rising, Salamte, Assalamu alaikum, Karibu, Habibi, welcome to the Cypher. Welcome back. There's Indian. Seeing a couple of you in the room so far. Let's see who's here. Yes, give thanks, Tracy. Yes, bless up for being the first one in the space so far. First one greetings. Send some greetings out if you when you log in. Today we're gonna start holding. We're gonna start that next step of holding each other accountable again. Next phase of this meditation this morning was let me bring it up. You know what? No, I'm not. Before we do our breathing, I'll come to that. But the point is, welcome, being here, being present, standing up. I wanted to, yes, give thanks. Greetings. Greetings, family. Yes, greetings, Courtney. Always early. You're in the spot early, Courtney. Give thanks for your support. Give thanks, Courtney. Look, give thanks. Yeah. Give thanks. Give me the courage from early out to keep going. You know, you was one of the ones that, yeah, keep going. Always there. Yeah, keep the show going. Keep the show going. Because we need it, right? We need this other voice. Give thanks, Courtney, for being here from the beginning. Because there's going to be people coming in later, man. It's this, you know, when this type of thing's popular again, when we're speaking out again, and you know what I mean? Then it's going to be the trend, and it ain't going to be that exciting anymore to be one of the first ones. So give thanks for standing up. And I want to take this moment right now to celebrate the circle of women. Real early before we get into the proceedings today, because we definitely got some more evidence to present. I want to give thanks to the circle of women. She says, Grand Rising fam, Grand Rising Tracy. Yesterday, what took place was so significant on so many different levels. My meditation this morning was off the chain. And I'll, you know what I mean, get into it further. But I just want to take this part of it to recognize that sisterhood. That serious sisterhood. Yes. You know what? I'm gonna bring our baby in the beginning. Let's get this going, because this is what I really envision this now taking place. We're gonna all be come in. We're gonna all be on the floor. So instead of bringing him in later, I'm gonna bring him in and let him greet the people and let him give a word saying B. Let's welcome Al B. If you're ready, we got a little feedback.
That's probably me. 1 minute.
Yeah, she settled. Yeah, see if you can settle that out. But yes, it warmed my heart to be a part of that, and to feel the sisters grow into their voices. You know what I mean? When they're given the opportunity, because too often it's just this patriarchal man space. Men want to get up and discuss the world between them. Like the world don't take place without the womb, man. Ain't nothing without the womb, man. She's first. She's first. Queen mothers. That spirit, that energy, that liberty, that healing energy, that nurturing energy, Jimaya or Set, that queen mother energy, right, was empowered yesterday. And I felt it taking place. I felt it transforming, felt the transformation happening as they stood up and came and gave the testimonies, testified before Bermuda, and stood up and said, yeah, enough's enough. Stand on healing. Let that healing be the principal piece, that our natural immunity can carry us. Have confidence in your body. So give thanks to the sisterhood, and I'm going to invite you guys, if you want to be present in this, every day from now on, come in. You know how to get in, come in, We bring you on. You want to testify anymore? If anything on your hearts that you want to give, I know you had a meeting last night and you talked about it. If there's anything specific you want to say, come in. This is the community, the people's commission of inquiry. We're going to flip the script on them. We don't need to go through, send any, you know what I'm thinking? It's not even about sending an application to the ombudsman. It's about us. It's about us. If we stand up, it's over. I'm going to get into that equation after the meditation and explain that. But right now, I just want to give thanks. Yes, you ready, Albie?
Yes, peace and love. Can you hear me?
Yes, I got you here, Clara.
Yeah, I just first of all, honest to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali with the concept of nationality back to our people. Also, greatest honors to mothers who without mothers nothing would happen. Okay, so that's the first relationship. So we have to big up moms first.
1 second, we're saying this echo. Okay, my echo, I got it. It's on now. Echo cancellation. That should take care of it.
Okay, you got it?
Yes, that give it a second to balance.
Yeah, so big ups to the mothers, that's the most important thing right there. Everyone came from a mother, and without mothers, nothing would happen. Nothing would begin. So to see that circle of women yesterday was a relief, and to hear that they've been meeting was a great relief to me personally, because like you said, we men we'll talk, and then it'll just end there. But if we don't have the feminine energy as our foundation, the earth as our foundation, then just be wading water, just swimming in these. You know what I mean?
Hey, look, you brought the word right there. We be just wading in the water, but who brings the water? That was the meditation. You just brought me right back center, because I went a little bit astray. That was the meditation right there to take in the bringers of water. There is no life without water. And the bringers of water is Jimaya, or Set, Queen Mother. That's what they represent. The memory of our species, of humanity, of life is in the water. It's captured in the water. The water that has the ability to transform and take on any shape, move, right? Flow gently, or crash and destroy. You know what I mean? Anything. It's nothing more peaceful, yet more destructive over time than water. Water will wear down anything and dissolve it. You leave anything in water and it will break down, right? It has those principles of returning it to its essence, returning it back to that natural state, that original natural state. There's nothing like water. Give thanks for the water and the feminine energy that brings the water, that lunar moon energy. You know what I mean? That's why the tides are carried by the moon, and that lunar energy. The females have the, you know what I mean, the visitation period they go through, right? Based on the moon. It's a monthly. It's all connected, and that energy is there. I just give thanks for them being present yesterday, enabling us to give honor and homage to the divine mother, to the divine feminine energy, and we got some music to give tribute to that. Today is pure fire. So give thanks for reaffirming that and put me back on track, because it's the combination. We can't be stopped. When we come together, we can't be stopped. So I'm gonna get right into the meditation. Let's before we go astray, because that's how we tune in. We tap into the source. Give thanks. Pamela Wade. Good morning, right? Enjoying these shows. Thank you for starting with deep breathing, learning to do it, right? It's the practice. That's all it takes. It's that practice of controlling your breath. You can use it wherever you go. I call it waking meditation. Whenever you're out there facing reality and dealing with troubling situations, you've been practicing. You can tap in to the one way that you can release all of them constructs you put in your mind, the behaviors of emotional responses. The only way to effective way, there's other ways, but the only effective way to short circuit that system and return you to the source of balance is this deep breathing. And our ancestors knew that. Our ancestors. I'm supported by my ancestors, sir. So in this meditation, I want you to give thanks to your ancestors, but also recognize that female energy, that feminine energy, that water within us, that Oset, that Yimaya, right? That presence that allows us to have that current nature, that flexibility to do what's necessary to keep us afloat. Hey, it's heavy, the meditation. So let's take it in. Let's jump right into that, and then we'll come back. Give thanks, Moorish, for guiding and bring it back to what's important. So let's get it on. Everybody, assume your position. Okay, says there's no echo. Let's get a few more greetings. Yes, Kim. Bless up. The other Kim Wilson, Kim A. Wilson. That's Kimberly A. Wilson. So it's no confusion. Greetings and blessed love, everyone. Thank you for your comments. Bless up, Kimberly. It's definite. That's time. Yeah, that time. Let's get it on. Camilla, I hear, or Cami, give thanks. Grand Rising, blessed morning to you also. So let's get into this meditation. Assume the position, make your spine as erect as possible, but relax your arms, relax your legs. You can put your palms on your thighs if you're sitting down, however you're seated or whatever, seated, or you can put it on your or on your abdomen so that you feel, because you put your focus on your abdomen. Try to take it out of your mind, take your brain out of your mind, take your focus out of your mind. Can't take your brain out of your mind, and focus on that breathing and feel the air as we do this 4-4 breathing. Feel your abdomen extending as your diaphragm pushes down into your abdominal cavity. Just feel that. Take that presence as you repeat the mantras. All right. The instructions will be on the screen. Let's get this one. You know how we do it. Let's go to the source. Let's tap in. Let's start it off. Follow the instructions on the screen. So oh boy, it's nothing like it. That deep breathing, man. That deep breathing. It's so simple, man. The solutions are so simple. They're right there for us all the time. The answer was there all the time to all your problems, all of them. Ain't one that you can't solve by that deep breathing, because that allows you to tap into the source from whence all life comes. All life. We want to give thanks for the mothers, the ancestors that made our cycle of life possible this time around. Give thanks to them ancestors. And give thanks to the source for allowing us to be able to tap in no matter where you are, no matter what circumstances you find yourself in. Just use that deep breathing and it all goes away. Huh? It all goes away. Ain't no issues that are that complicated, that are that difficult for us. None of them. Because we could tap into the source. Huh? We can tap into the source directly. Yeah, let's give thanks, Kimberly. Bless up for that. Yeah, that is nature. That's all we gotta do. Use and I use it as a measuring stick for any civilization, any society, any culture. If they're training you how to breathe, then they're on track. That's it. If they're not training you how to breathe, then there's something missing. It hasn't evolved yet. They're not aware yet of the importance of it. And this whole system, right, that we're in front of right now, this whole medical system is emphasizing everything else out there and telling you put a mask on your face. Reduce the ability for you to, first off, take in that good prana-rich air, right, or oxygen that's gonna stimulate that prana to flow through your systems, right? Oxygenate your body. They're gonna tell you put a mask on, like it's something out there gonna get you. That's more important, keeping that out, than breathing that good oxygen in. Oh, good air. The oxygen is just a component of it, not even the biggest component. See, we don't even understand the fullest part of life because nitrogen is by far more present than oxygen. You want to go up on that level? Yo, come here and I see you took the mic off.
Yeah. I just I just wanted to chime in because we were discussing microbes a little bit before. We're talking about the flora, the bacterial and fungal biomass that we coexist with in our magnificent bodies. Because you were talking about oxygen, I just want to chime in. There are two main environments that the microbiology live in. And generally speaking, an oxygenated environment is where you're going to get most of your beneficial bacteria and fungi present and multiplying and living. And in an oxygen deficient environment, so we call that anaerobic. In an anaerobic environment, you'll have the more pathogenic disease causing microbes existing. So that's a fundamental observation in the microbe world. So you got oxygenated or an aerobic and an anaerobic environment. Those are the two main states that actually cause either an acidic or an alkaline environment. So acidic environments are created after the depletion of oxygen, and alkaline and more alkaline environment is created by the microbe world in an oxygen-rich environment. So just breathing alone, and Deb, oh, sorry, that's not me. So just breathing alone is going to increase the levels of oxygen in our bodies, and therefore create a more beneficial environment for the microbe world to assist in our living. So I just wanted to chime in with that because we're talking about breathing, the importance of oxygen or prana, and because I had done some studying on soil life in the soil. I wanted to share that bit of information that I was able to gain through my studies.
That's why you heard this combination. This it's over, man. Let me jump right into this piece of the meditation. The first one was giving thanks for that sisterhood yesterday, the circle of women, and honoring that the presence of water. The next was oxygen, doing our deep breathing. And then the next piece is this, right? I want to discuss that concept of I and what demonstrating it right now. This teamwork, I, right? There is no I without an I. Because there has to be this balance of teamwork to accomplish things. We cannot do it alone, and that's what the InI refers to. So now they took that, right, and making this statement. It's mathematical at the same time linguistic, right, or logical, right? InI, that message equals each one reach one. So I wanted to emphasize that for a minute right now today and celebrate what happened yesterday and adapt that equation. Maybe I was a little bit too aggressive with each one bring two. I think that's a little hard to sustain. And as we did the equation, we saw that the interference that could come in with trying to fulfill that equation in its fullness. Because if you come and you have to bring two, then tomorrow do you have to bring another two each price? You know what I mean? Because that modifies the equation. Or do you just have to bring two and now those two have to bring two the next time? You know what I mean? So that we're bringing, you're only responsible for bringing two to the overall scenario, or each day you got to bring two. That's more complicated. And the number, that growth, that type of growth, that binary growth can flourish quickly. Binary growth, which is how most life reproduces, right, in a binary form. And even bacteria, microorganisms, not to go too far off of the main concept here. Each one reach one. Instead of each one teach one, I wanted to change that up because I had a little issue this week and dealing with this idea of a teacher and student concept. I want to eradicate that. There is no such thing. There's only one teacher, which is the creator. That's it, or the source. That's it. That's where you pull down that real source of knowledge. Everything else is secondhand, and we're all even in that. Any being on the face of the earth is all even on that. There's no superiority in that space, right? We're all even. We all have the opportunity to shine when the time comes. We just got to step up when the time comes. Step up when you have the opportunity to represent. So I bring it each one reach one instead of each one teach one, because we're all on the same level. Each one reach one and bring another one with you. So this is the obligation I'm going to extend to everyone. Each time, bring somebody else with you that you've spent time when we're not on the show, when we're not here live testifying and presenting evidence, right? Go in the background and bring somebody else on board with you. So when you come back, you're bringing somebody with you. You reached one. But tomorrow, you got that same job, right? You got that same job. You got to find somebody else now. And then they have to find somebody, right? And and now I got the next part of the equation equals the struggle done. The struggle's done. The struggle's over. And what I wanted to do is claim that today. I wanted to claim that because we got the sisters on board. The sisterhood on board, we can't go wrong, right? We cannot go wrong. We already won the victory, claim the victory. The victory is over. I mean, but the battle is over. We just got to realize it. We just got to manifest it. And this is the manifestation. Another play on words. This is the manifestation. We're on TV, so it's a little play on that concept. But we're bringing to reality how we can change things.
I just quote you. I just quote it. Manifestation.
The manifestation. dCyfa, the manifestation. We're going to bring to reality, right, this change. And each one, reach one, bring one with you each time you come here, and we could convert the whole world. It won't take a long time, you know. Go back, do your math, and see how long before we have this whole population on board with Bermuda and then the globe. If each one you take each day, you come back and you reach somebody else. You take on that task, reach somebody else. The struggle's over. You just gotta take that on earnestly. Take that task on fully. And the struggle's done. We can celebrate now. And today was about celebrating a bit. So in that vibe, I hope you understood the equation, because we got some heavy material to present today. So I wanted to celebrate a little bit. It was a piece left over from yesterday, and it's a perfect transition in today. So what I'm going to do is pull up this big tune. Like, hey, this is a big tune by a Bermuda artist that was spoken of yesterday and represents that feminine energy like none other, globally known, and has a reach and is an activist and is a founding member of that sister circle, but not located in the island. If anybody knows who I'm talking about, you can put it in the comments. I'm gonna play the track. Let me see. I've got some. Yeah. Good morning. Thanks. I'm listening. I'm working today. Thank you. Okay. I'm gonna comment her real quick. Yes, Mal Dupree. Give thanks, Mal. Give thanks for everything yesterday, all your attempts, but just the work you guys do in the background. Give thanks. But put in the comments if you know what track I'm gonna play. I'm about to play it. It was supposed to be played yesterday. Give thanks. Good morning, Deb. Bless up, Deborah Tucker. Bless up. Yeah, okay, it's coming in. People are saying, you can see it in the Facebook. I'll put it up on the screen. I'll give everybody else who's just watching a chance to recognize the track. This is to her, the queen of the drum. Huh? This sister right here represents to the fullest all the time. I've got that issue last time. Let me pull it up. Pull it up from the top.
I am Mother Earth. Don't use me, don't abuse me. I am Mother Earth. Love me, keep me irie. I am Mother Earth. Don't use me, don't abuse me. I am Mother Earth. Love me, keep me irie.
I have to pull it up. Who is the artist? Everybody, tell me who is the artist. This is Bermuda's Earn. Come on. Talk to me. Who is the artist?
I am Mother Earth. Don't use me, don't abuse me. I am Mother Earth. Love me, keep me irie. I am Mother Earth. Don't use me, don't abuse me. I am Mother Earth. Love me, keep me irie.
Don't you love it when the air it is clean? Don't you love it when the sun is your beam? Don't you love it when a new baby born, life in its purest form? Well, don't you love it when lovers hold hands? Don't you love it when the weak take a stand? What would you do if night turned to day?
The wicked they will run away. I am Mother Earth. Don't use me, don't abuse me. I am Mother Earth. Love me, keep me irie. I am Mother Earth. Don't use me, don't abuse me. I am Mother Earth. Love me, keep me irie. You know those days when you are reminded that the universe is surely conspiring to provide everything you need and want. Your desires, love and loyalty is the authority. I am Mother.
Come on, pull it up one more time. Listen to this from the top. This is the energy she brings, a real lioness. And we got some lionesses on this island. Jan yesterday, Mal, Sophia, Kimberly. Come on.
I am Mother Earth. Don't use me, don't abuse me. I am Mother Earth. Love me, keep me irie. I am Mother Earth. Don't use me, don't abuse me. I am Mother Earth. Love me, keep me irie.
Don't you love it when the air it is clean? Don't you love it when the sun is your beam? Don't you love it when a new baby born, life in its purest form? Well, don't you love it when lovers hold hands? Don't you love it when the weak take a stand? What would you do if night turned to day?
The wicked they will run away. I am Mother Earth. Don't use me, don't abuse me. I am Mother Earth. Love me, keep me irie. I am Mother Earth. Don't use me, don't abuse me. I am Mother Earth. Love me, keep me irie. You know those days when you are reminded that the universe is surely conspiring to provide everything you need and want. Your desires, love and loyalty is the authority. I am Mother Earth. Don't use me, don't abuse me. I am Mother Earth. Love me, keep me irie. I am Mother Earth. Don't use me, don't abuse me. I am Mother Earth. Love me, keep me irie. Well, I am calling all the boys and I am calling all the girls. Let us clean up this place, clean up this whole world. Don't bother with the diamonds and no business with the pearls. Everything that you need, you know that I forget. Come let me feel the breeze between the sweet trees. Get down on your knees and say a prayer, please. Because I am Mother Earth. Don't use me, don't abuse me. I am Mother Earth. Love me, keep me irie. I am Mother Earth. Don't use me, don't abuse me. I am Mother Earth. Love me, keep me irie. I am Mother Earth. Don't use me, don't abuse me. I am Mother Earth. Love me, keep me irie. We are Mother Earth.
So man, that's a big, 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 big tune, you know. Big tune. Hey, Bermuda's got so much talent on this rock. There's so much talent on this rock, or off the rock, that was born on this rock, that claims this rock. Cedar Rock, nuAtlantis, however you want to refer to it. Talent out the yin yang. In the yin yang. Yes, greetings. I get greetings to, I think you're sending greetings to her, or greeting each other. Bless up. Yes, I am Mother Earth. The female energy. But I'd even put it closer, is the female energy is the water. That's what our ancient spirit was the water. The female energy is carried in the water. The flow of the ocean, one aspect of it, that's Yemaya, right? And then you have Heteru in Khamist tradition, that represents the fresh water of the river. Different expression, but the same energy, the same water, right? Manifested in this time, in all times, because all life comes through that water, that presence of H2O. It's heavy. It's heavy. That's a heavy track. Give thanks. I am Mother Earth. And we got plenty music today. I got my cousin. Yes, amniotic fluid in the body. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Right? Every cell. I even go heavier. Every cell is 99.999% water inside that cell. Just with some electrolytes and some proteins. Trace amounts of RNA and DNA. Nucleotides. We get into that science a little later. I wanted to celebrate the women today again and continue that vibe and welcoming that presence in her, because that with that energy, the victory is ours. We already won. We just gotta claim it and live in it and walk in that energy. So we embrace it. Sisters, you are welcome here anytime. You got the link, pop in, and you can give your a further if you want to present some evidence, or you want to testify on what you know. You know what I mean? It's two ways to contribute, or you can, well, three ways. You can continue, as Mel might be still having technical difficulties. Send in your messages. I pull it up on the screen like this, so you can contribute and be a part of these proceedings, right? So I'm being kind of theatrical about it by calling it the Bermuda's Commission of Inquiry into the Bermuda's pandemic response, right? But I'm serious at the same time, because it's us. It's only us that could really make this effective anyway, right? Because it's in our daily activities that we affirm and confirm government's rule by paying taxes, by honoring the laws that they stipulate, whether they're just or not, is in your daily activities that confirm it. You could just as well say, yeah, I'm heading up and I'm going to be a part of change. So we're embracing all of those leaders that are currently having difficulties, this cognitive dissonance they're going through right now, trying to understand the dilemma they're faced with truth on one side, and then the other thing that they're involved in, it ain't truth. It definitely ain't based in science. And we're going to clearly demonstrate what on day 6 of the actual proceedings, right? And day 3 of being on the lockdown, being on the lockdown conditions. What I'm going to call it research and rest and research. Rest and research conditions. Some people are working from home. Some people are they're dealing with the children. They're dealing with working from home. That you know what I mean? Dealing with all the things that are, that are somewhat priorities. But we need to put humanity as a priority. And the ability to continue humanity when what happens to the womb, man. So we want to give thanks for that. Give thanks for that presence. As we continue on with this People's Commission of Inquiry, we're going to actually present some more heavy evidence today. Myself, I'm going to deal with Cox postulates. I'm going to lay that out a bit, which is still along the lines of germ theory. Let me state, this is still under the this position is under the framework of germ theory,
which is cool though. This is cool because remembering these are theories, right?
Right.
And if the narrative, the mainstream narrative, the official position is based in germ theory, but that's cool too, because really what's going on is we don't have to disband that theory completely to disprove what they're doing. We can even keep using that theory, remain in that theory, and show that decisions are still being made based on faulty logic and pseudoscience. So by going into Cox postulates, you're gonna prove that even through germ theory, even using the science, for lack of a better word, that the narrative is dependent on, they're still incorrect in the decision making. Still incorrect. Even using the data that the mainstream narrative is putting out, they're still wrong. You know, like we're looking at 99.5% of people over 70 who are falling, gravely ill, according to the mainstream narrative, and 99.5% are not getting gravely ill over 70, and 99.8 something or 9 something under 70 years of age are faring quite well as well. So this is still not a dangerous situation as being put out by the mainstream narrative by their own numbers.
Using the numbers.
Using the numbers. I mean, even those are, even we're taking them with a grain of salt, just because of mistrust in other areas. I personally don't trust everything I see or believe everything I see on television. But even if we were to take what they're giving us as fact, truth, and use those numbers, it still doesn't match up. The response still doesn't equate. It's still, you'll see. Go into Cox postulates and we'll use the science against
use the science against them. They fall into the trap. You know what I mean? We can capture them in the trap.
In the trap.
and look, so two things I want to do. I want to take this opportunity really quick. I'm gonna put this banner back up. Right, this idea. So what I want to do, because we only got like 14 in the house right now. Let's hold each other accountable. Let's get this activity going. Bring somebody else in with you and share, like, and follow if you ain't already did that, or subscribe. If you're on YouTube, subscribe. If you're on Facebook, follow. And we're eventually coming off of this. This is just to gather, the people and reach you. Eventually, we're not going to be on Facebook and YouTube. That's the goal, to have this coming to you. And this is going to be a consistent thing. We're not just doing this for this commission inquiry. It's more to come until we've dismantled the whole colonial system, right? With this equation that you see there, it's possible. Not that it's possible, it's done already. But just gotta follow through. The struggle's done already. I should have put already in there. Let me put that in there real quick to pick up our lingo and that mentality. I want that in your mind. I want that in your spirit. Feel that. Struggle's done already. And let me bring this image up real quick. I'm gonna I ran into it a bit yesterday. I'm gonna do two things real quick. Oh, let me do this real quick. Let me get it in order. I guess there's so many thoughts coming at one time. First, with this equation, you need to bring somebody else with you. So take this time out, sure, and make sure somebody else is coming in with you. Bring somebody else. And I want you, I'm gonna call ourselves out. Say you're present right now in the comments. If you haven't already, state that you're present, right? Yes, Kimberly says, yes, my language. Wow, let me get a quick catch up with the concepts. That part that's missing in the mainstream narrative is susceptibility. Everyone that is exposed does not get sick because not everyone is susceptible. See, if we are smart, we want to ask why. Right. We can come to them things. I just want to keep up. I don't want to get too far behind the comments because you are part of the show. If you're tuning in on Facebook and YouTube, you're part of the show. Send in your thoughts, send in your meditations, your comments, and we're going to engage you. But I want to get to this, right? We're got to follow through on it. We follow through on this equation. Simple equation. It's real simple. Do our deep breathing and bring somebody else with you here. So I want you to, each person, state who you're bringing in the comments that you're bringing along. I'm gonna run another track real quick and bring somebody else here, because the transition is, as long as we follow through with this equation right here, I and I, and each day you're bringing somebody else with you, it's over. It's done. I'm gonna bring this image up real quick that'll paint that image as clear as possible. First, I'm gonna bring up this one. as we do, in the same regards that you honored and gave respect to your noble Drew Ali, and the same respect, His Imperial Majesty and the role he played in Pan-Africanism. And I'm going to describe that a little bit. Pan-Africanism, what that means in its fullest sense. As you go up on nationhood, and we'll get back and forth into this as we really deep into sovereignty. I actually heard a little bit more because I know you're going to want to jump in on that piece. But the idea of Pan-Africanism, what does Pan mean? Come in. Tell me what Pan means. Let's have this little bit of the conversation real quick. Tell me what Pan means and your interpretation of an African. While people read that I'm not gonna read it out again because they know it. These are the words of wisdom that directs us, that we can pull to, that we can reach out to, and use as a guide and light in this day of darkness. These type of words, right? And in that, you tell me what Pan-Africanist means. In your version, yeah.
Me, right? You told me? Okay, so yeah, absolutely. Thanks and praises to all prophets who came before us to give us the information that we need. Pan means all. If we're going into the etymology,
always.
So pan, for example, a popular word now, pandemic. Pan means all, A-L-L, all, and demos is people. So for something to be a demos, you also see in Democrat or Democratic. So pandemic affects all people. Okay, so the word pandemic has nothing to do with deadly so-called viruses. The word pandemic only means all people. So if something is affecting or in some way related to all people, it can be called a pandemic. So therefore, with the correct usage of the word, it's not being used incorrectly because this situation is a pandemic. It is affecting all people. However, because we generally don't know what we're talking about, meaning we don't know the words we use, right? We are, as a master teacher once said, we are functional illiterates, meaning we use words, we function, but we don't necessarily know what we're talking about. We don't really comprehend what's being said. So yes, it is a pandemic. It's affecting all people. Pan-Africanism. So pan is all, and if we're going to use the connotative understanding of Africa, we're talking about people from the continent that the indigenous call Al-Kebulan. So Pan-African is all Africans. All Africans. African has other connotations.
But that's not the other connotation. We
can leave that alone. So yeah, Pan-Africanism is relating to all Africans.
Bang. Okay, so that's where I wanted us to get, because I know you could definitely go further up on that. So Pan-Africanist or Pan-Africanism and the interpretation that came out of myself from the source this morning as I tapped into my meditation, the interpretation that came through as I continue to explore my identity is that Pan-Africanist means we're all Africans at its core, because all humanity started in what they call Africa now. Just for simplicity, I don't want to go too heavy into that. I just want to paint that picture that all humanity came out of Africa. It's just at different times. We just departed that region. Humanity departed the Nile Valley region. All humanity started as early as we could find, started in that Nile Valley region. I know you could go up on it and you got a challenge to that, but we're going to have another opportunity to do that. I just want to paint this picture right now in terms of my meditation, that And I've got the flag in the background. Let's see if I can show that. I should have left it as a banner. Let me see. Pull that up. You can see that. See, now that flag in the background is the flag that I currently uphold. You got yours present there in the emblem in your avatar, which is which I heard is just another version of this, in a sense, that we all humanity came out of Africa, dispersed itself across the whole globe, because the whole globe is really an extension of Africa, because at one time we had the Pangea. But we will get into that depths. I just want to paint this image really quickly, that we all are one humanity. And it's
I just want to interject real quick, because you said Pangea. There's Pan again.
There's
right?
Pan again.
And Gea is Gaia, right? Which is Earth. So Pangea is all Earth.
Yes.
So words are really simple if we start to look at the roots of these words. So Pan, all, yeah. Peace and love. I'm gonna mute myself out again.
Okay, yeah, man. Give thanks for that. Yes, just honoring. Yes, give thanks. The one dCyfa, another artist, talent. We're gonna definitely run some music from dCyfa when we get to a point. Definitely more talent out of this rock. Part of my crew. Courtney says, look, Al-Kabulan, let's not use the colonizers' words. Yes, just for simplicity. Just to create this, I just wanted to create that image. We could go up on it. We're gonna go up and we go into sovereignty and nationality, which is another group. Oh God, a heavy group in this telegram under dCyfa. A heavy group that Moorish is pretty much the main moderator of the sovereignty and nationality group. Because that identity, establishing identity, is a key piece. When we unify, we need to understand how the banner that we're unifying under. And I think it should be as much all embracing as possible. And that's why, see that flag that's behind us, that represents the United Nations of Africa, or African Union, and which is commonly referred to now. And they are embracing us as those in the diaspora, which is all of humanity. That's the point of making. The diaspora is all of humanity, because it all started in Al-Kabulan, or what they currently call sometimes Africa, right? Which is a continent. So, but the whole globe used to be it. So, but that said, all of that covered. We covered all of that. Let's go back to the main piece here. Each one, reach one. So reach out, bring somebody in. I still haven't seen anybody in the comments state who you brought on with you. Bring somebody to share it, get it out there, and tell them, come in, and put your name in here. We'll roll through and do roll call as we go who you're bringing to this, because we go long. What I'm noticing, Ian, what I am noticing, because we go so long, when people come back and they see, oh, that's a 3-hour video, that's a 4-hour video, the 3.5. I mean, yesterday was 3.5. That's the longest we went yesterday. They look at that and they say, that's too long. I can't watch a 3.5 hour video. I ain't got that type of time. Because you could have been here from when it was live and being a part of the show, not watching it afterwards. There's value in watching it afterwards to study the material, because we're covering some heavy material. So if you're not up to date, you got to go back. But we don't want to leave everybody behind as this train starts to pick up pace. We don't want to leave everybody behind. Come on board. We are going to reorient humanity to the source. We're going to remove all them titles and limitations to unity. We're going to remove all of this. We are all Al-Kabulanians or Al-Kabulans. We're all from Al-Kabulan. We're all from the original continent. The Pangea, as it spread out, and we spread ourselves about the globe, about planet Earth, Mother Earth, right? We dispersed ourselves. So I just want to cover that. We're all one. Let's bring us all together. Let's not leave each other behind. Bring somebody with you. InI states that. That's what InI means. We're together in this. As long as we realize that, we could conquer anything. So I want to shift from the great words of wisdom of His Imperial Majesty that I'm sure you're very familiar with, and I want to shift to this image real quickly. This one here. Once we get the fullness of this, once we get the fullness of this, you're going to see that the struggle is already over. We're already finished. We already won. It's just want us to see it through. Just let that image seep into your unconscious. Right? We're not outnumbered. We're not outpowered or overpowered. We're just unorganized. When we come together and realize the power we have when we come together as a unit and function as a unit collectively, there's no mountain we can't move. No wall, no barrier, no limit we can break. It's on us. It's on us. We are not outnumbered. We are just unorganized. I want to stress that really quickly. Then I want to go to I got another one here that creates an even better visualization of what it takes. And I'm going to zoom in even more on this so that we get each piece. See if I can capture each piece at a time. Yeah, that's good. Let's go in each piece at a time here. See if you capture the power of these images, right? When the population understands this whole picture, right, it will change everything. What do you see there? What's taking place there? What is this image saying to you? Right? That first image. What does that first phase of this image say to you? There's one guy with the whip, and everybody's all in line, all standing in line behind him. Scroll down a little bit. See how this image starts to change. Right? When he bears that whip, and let me change my get back. Right? When he brings that whip out, almost everybody bows down because it's the guy with the power. Right? Everybody's bowing down. One guy stands up and says, yeah, I'm had enough. His can be, you know what I mean? He's overpowered. Because the guy with the whip is surely, you know what I mean, backed by the whole system, the whole colonial system in this sense. His got backing. Right? Surely. That's why he's got that whip and the power. But let's scroll down a little bit further and see how this story starts to change. Huh? What happens here? It's shifted. He's not by himself anymore. He's pulled his whip back. He's saying, hey, I can't whip all you guys at one time. Let me think about this. What made him think? And that's the stage we're at right now. This is the stage we're at right now. We're coming together. We're realizing what got strength in us coming together as a force. And we can make them think twice. We're just approaching that stage right now through this dCyfa, but all the other groups like the secular women and the other groups that are organizing themselves out there and realizing the power and the strength that we have, that our daily activities empower the system when we bow down to it. When we go to the store and spend that money in damn stores that don't represent us. When we pay taxes to a colonial system that doesn't support us or represent us, that was actually created to colonize us. And right now, the colonization is taking place up here. Right now, the colonization is taking place in the mind. Let me shift mine up real quick. The colonization is taking place in the mind. That's where we're colonized right now. Still got the flag and things. Bermuda's a particular situation because we are still a colony. So we're doubly colonized. We're definitely colonized here for the most part because we're very much conformist and compliant society. But at the same time, we are a colony. But we're starting to realize, and we're reaching this, we're just about reaching this phase right here that I'm pointing out. Where we're coming together and realizing we can use our force. And Morris, you spoke on, I know you unmuted your mic. You spoke on this piece a bit the other day of what we can do to actually have an impact on change. You want to jump back? Is that why you unmuted your mic? And I'm going to change my banner a bit.
Yeah, and just I just wanted to make sure I'm here to support you as a you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So yeah, I just to chime in to back you up. Each one is a good starting point for our particular venue right now. What we're dealing with, trying to get more listeners and participants in having the necessary discussions that we need to have in order to you say move forward as a unit right now. But at the same time, we can't lead horses to water, not to call people horses, cattle. You know what I mean? Like the government, so-called government of the day is doing, calling people cattle by using these terms, vaccine and herd immunity. But okay, so not everybody's ready for the taste of coffee. You know what I mean? I never used to like coffee, but now I do. You know what I mean? It took me a little while. So it's going to be that way for a lot of people when it comes to dealing with anything that they're not used to dealing with already. And most of us are not used to challenging the narrative that's being told. We've been well trained for these for our younger years into conforming to the idea that there is someone ahead of us who we need to get everything from, and that you can see that in the structure of the modern school systems, that the teacher stands at the front and we need to sit down and be quiet, and everything they say is right. So long as we can repeat it back to them, then we're right. So we get trapped in this sort of habit that there's an authoritative figure or an authority on whatever situation or whatever information that we collectively need to listen to, repeat it back, and then we're right. So it's a habit that we're stuck in. Mm-hmm. And it's a way of thinking. It's a trained way of thinking that we're stuck in, generally speaking. So when you got this image here, it's the same thing going on here, but now instead of one authoritative figure, somebody else is standing up. If you go up to the second image, I think it's the second image where the one person standing up. Now with that one person standing up, the people have more than one point of reference. So it's like the student who stands up and says, wait a minute, Mr. Teacher, it looks like that equation you got on the board's wrong. Now learning can take place because we've got 2 points of reference now that we can compare and contrast against each other. And so with this one person opposing the other person standing up, now the people there have 2 points of reference. They can choose to continue following the authoritative figure that they were following before, or they can look at this option. Hey, this other person's providing an option. And we have to have trust in ourselves first to be able to discern right from wrong. So that when we're given more than one point of reference, we can cross-reference and choose the better route. And so in the next picture, you got people changing their mind, making a choice. Wait a minute. I think what this guy here is saying is more correct. I'm going to go with that. Now, when we're dealing with censorship, which we're dealing with a lot, it's apparent now, but we've been dealing with censorship for a very long time now. Remember, we have had one newspaper on the island for a number of years now. That is a type of censorship. you got this one point of reference, and in order to make a decision without going out and doing our own research, only using the references that are given to us, it makes it very difficult to choose anything but what the one narrative is expounding or explaining to you. Unless, again, you're an independent researcher and you're going out and doing your own information, research. The guy that stood up in the first picture, or the second picture, he's an independent researcher. He's saying, wait a minute, something about this ain't right. Actually, it looks like he never bowed down, actually. He never did bow down. Everybody else bowed down, but he was like, hey, you guys, hold on. I'm not turning left here. I'm going to turn right. You know what I mean? So we have these independent researchers in our communities that, if given a chance and listened to, it would at least, even if we don't change our mind from the common narrative, it would at least give us a chance to exercise thought, because the thought is something that moves too. And just like the body, if we don't exercise thought, our power of reason can become weak. So cross-referencing is big, is important, and it, unfortunately, because multiple reference points aren't given to us in the general population as they used to be, now we have to go and put the effort in ourselves to find more reference points so that we can make better, more rational decisions. Because you can make a rational decision with 1 point. A ratio means more than one, right? It's you're dealing with more than one. So to make a rational decision, we need more than one reference point. The more, the better, actually.
Yeah, man. But this, look, you touched on this is why this space here is about us coming together. You need more than one perspective, and that's why I'm co-host. You're here with us, and we're gonna embrace the sisters. And that note, I'm gonna transition real quick and run this other track. I'm not got the video for this, but this is some heavy tune in the meditation. Just want to make sure we're honoring the mothers, and we're honoring that presence in the room, that we're embracing them, and when they want to come forward and give a little more, they can. But in that same idea, they're having that other perspective on things. So run this track, one. Listen to the lyrics. Listen to the lyrics. This is Shasha Mali. And you can continue. I'm breaking up your vibes and just lifting the vibes up. You can continue on, Morris, when you're ready. We just want to run this track. Uplifting our people, to the mothers, to the queens.
So behold the Shasha praying over yonder. So behold the Shasha praying over yonder. Praying, Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord's with thee. Blessed amongst women, blessed is the fruit of your womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and the hour of our death. Oh, Mary, I come from your sorrow. Mary, I come from. Mary, I come from. Yeah, so many and I bring it on dry as you go.
I'm still inviting that female energy into the room. They stood up yesterday. They stood up for us. They've been standing up for a long time. Just recognizing it.
seated on a throne in the Buckingham Palace in London. Is one of the greatest queens of this universe.
So I'm gonna let that track run in the background. Listen to the lyrics when you can. Listen to the lyrics. I'm gonna pull it up later part of the another part of the show. So much tune I gotta run. I can't left the tune out. I can't left the tune up because the meditations, it's been in the music. It's been in the consciousness. It's been in the music. So as we continue and we show this image here of what it requires to not bow down, somebody's got to stand up first. And I think we're doing this. The ones that are in the room now, the ones that have been here over the 6 days that were laid this out in the actual proceedings, and the 3 days prior to that, we're really on 9 days because the first 3 days we did the preliminary hearing. We established whether or not we should proceed with an actual hearing, right? Or we had hearing to see if we're going to actually have proceedings. And then before that, we established whether or not biological warfare could be conducted against us. So if you ain't caught all of that, you got a lot to catch up on to be right up to date with the where we are in the conversation. You got a lot of catching up to do. So that's why we're requesting that you bring somebody with you, so that you're in the room and it's taking place, that you're sharing, that you're part of the movement, that you ain't playing too much catch up, because we got to get this work done and fulfill this equation so that this takes place. This is where we want to be. This is where we want to be. We need to shift our minds so we're here, right? The struggle's done. I want you to envision that and take this time as the track's playing, honoring the queens, right? That idea of Mary that was in there. We got Mary. Mary's in the room. I want to give thanks. Good morning to Mary. Mary, your name, you that's what you carry. You're the prayer warrior for the sisters. And your name represents that Mary Magdalene, that the Virgin Mary, all of that, the Black Madonna, right? Jimaya, all set. That's what your name carries, Mary. And that's what the song's talking about. And that's what happened yesterday. So I'm just embracing the fact that it already took place. Struggle's already done. We're already. Let's claim our victory and walk in it. Walk together. Before we get into the heavy information side of the show today, I just wanted to do this a little bit. and let us visualize that we're already done this. See the image there? It's already took place. We're just gonna manifest it. All right, so covered that. I leave the track running in the background. Let's get on to some actual some more science. We're gonna get down into some more science and start to present the case for today. Present the evidence for today. I'm gonna get into the Cox postulates like we described before. It's all still under the banner of germ theory, but we're gonna use that against them. We're gonna use that same traps against them. Let them fall in the same.
This is the power of science. This is the power of science. Is that it? If it's not true, it will collapse in on itself. If our hypothesis is not correct, or if the hypothesis is not true, it will reveal itself through the steps of scientific method, as we had shared before. And see if I can bring that up again, just to keep it on, or just to use a visual reference. I'm gonna have to share the screen once I get it.
All right. And I've got
2 seconds. It's gonna be a window. Let's see.
Well, while you're doing that, I'm gonna pull this one up real quick. I should have left that up. Now the image to kind of capture the. What you got yours up? You're still working it out. Let me pull that banner down. Real quick, just a little bit of comedy. Have you flattened the curve yet? No. I think it's a circle now. It's this image there's humor in it, but it's crazy at the same time. We're just repeating the same. Are you telling me we're repeating the same methods we used last year when you said we knew nothing about this virus or whatever, this pandemic? Huh? You're repeating the same tactics? Something strange about this. You talked about flattening the curve before. Now it looks like it's a circle we're dealing with. I just want to pull that up before I went into the other science piece. A little bit of humor. Let's get into your presentation. Or part of your presentation. So good. You said the scientific method again?
Yeah. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I've got it up.
Yeah, so this again is a simple diagram of how scientific method work. If you hear anybody talking about science, think this. And if they're not practicing this, then what they're doing is pseudoscience. The scientific method, well, you may find...
click on the actual... So it goes right to the center of your screen.
Let me see if I can... let me see if I could zoom in a bit. Yeah?
Click on view default. No, it's still not showing. It's probably on your other screen.
Good one. Let's see something there.
This thing, got so much. This Shasha Mali. I've been running the Shasha Mali all day. This one here is shame on the politicians. Let me pull this one up. You got your image up yet? Yeah? You're still pulling it up. I'm gonna pull this track up.
About now.
Okay, yes, we got the full screen. Yeah, that's pretty big. Right, so describe it.
Right. If you hear the word science, remember this diagram. Okay, because science means knowledge, and knowledge, scientific method is the route to claiming what you have as far as information is scientific, is science. If it cannot stand up to this process, which is a continuing process, it never ends. It's a cycle, then it's not science. If it cannot stand up to questioning, then it's not science. If the experiment does not prove the hypothesis, if the conclusion does not match with the observation, etc., I can go on, ad nauseum regarding this, but scientific method science has to stand up to scientific method. If it's not, then it's just pseudoscience and or conjecture, a guessing game. And to base any decision in pseudoscience is, especially when it comes to dealing with humanity, is a crime against humanity.
Say that again for me, please.
So to base any decisions which will affect humanity in pseudoscience, in science that is not scientific, so pseudoscience, fake science, false science, or conjecture, is a crime against humanity.
A crime against humanity, not against one person that they set up these little acts, or against the crime, which the crimes against. We're talking about crimes against humanity that we're making these indictments. If you are standing and you're complicit and you're empowering a system that doesn't follow the scientific method, if I'm taking from what you're saying, is applying it, you know what I mean, to what we're doing here, then we're really saying that you are committing a crime against humanity. And we're demonstrating it as we go. Give thanks for that.
Yes, I bless up.
This is if you're not in the room and a part of this, we're dismantling the system ourselves, and we realize it's through our knowledge that we're gonna dismantle the system. It's through our knowledge. When we stand up and hold them accountable and stop funding these governments and these enterprises, right? Amazon and Facebook and all of these big enterprises. When we stop giving them our energy, giving them our resources, that's when we will become what we should in the other image. But it's just a matter of manifesting it. So let's get into this. Let's get into this presentation. This comes from the History of Vaccines. You can look it up online. Let me really quickly bring in some of the greetings. I don't want to fall too far behind before I get into that presentation. Let me shift view real quick. And what we got here. Okay, we had a little bit of discussion going on about, let's tap into that real quick. I don't want to fall behind. Tracy said, according to Ayurveda, the body makes mucus because it is protecting you, right? The body is dry and cannot work as intended, right? The drier your body, when you don't have as much water as you should, back to that water, the key piece, when you're not as hydrated as you should be, the mucus becomes real sticky. I think that's what she's going on, right? This is why we must keep the body moist according to Ayurveda. That water, oil, but and oil represents a form of water, if you didn't know. Oil your body every day with jojoba oil, coconut oil, avocado oil, not mineral or vegetable oil. Yes, these are big pieces. In terms of internally and externally, them mineral and vegetable oils are mineral oils are kind of strong on one level. Vegetable oils are toxic in a lot of levels. But jojoba oil, coconut oil, avocado oil at room temperature are still healthy. Give thanks for that contribution. And then there was a bit of back and forth in that we regard, not back and forth, but and we said, Kimberly comes, yeah, I love coconut oil for a long time now, and recently started using olive oil on body and hair. Coconut pulling is a favorite too. Okay, yes, no fluoride. Okay, I think she meant coconut brushing. I'm not sure where the fluoride. And yes, but I remember my brother back in the day used to use this coconut oil based tooth wash. He had this little container. He used to just put it in his mouth and wash his mouth out. My brother was on his mission to organic living. Here we got, yeah, Charlene Angray says, I'm grateful for this comment. I think she's talking about that. Then Jay Silver came in, milk for children, meat for man. I think that he is making brother to Silver. Jay Silver goes up on esoteric science is heavy. I don't want to give up all his secrets though. Play on the words. But anyway, we'll get into Tracy says you can get calcium from broccoli. Milk is not good for humans. So I think she's coming back to him. Become the human sacrifice. Jay Silver, you're gonna have to come in and clarify some of this because you're putting a lot out into the space, and you know how deep you go because you're an esoteric scientist, right? I meant figuratively. Yeah, well, you gotta say that from the beginning, putting it in. Give thanks for the comments, for the participation. Camila says, and the media regularly delete and censor. Yes, I think she's talking to your comments about censorship. So we got that in the conversation, right? And that don't fit the narrative. And in Telegram, we got a bit of conversation. And in Facebook, after the show yesterday, there were people commenting on the fact that they have been removed from certain Facebook groups that are supposed to be about sharing knowledge, but obviously not, because they're censoring the ones that are sharing an alternative to the mainstream narrative, right? Yes, brother, you give thanks for being in this space. Grand Rising, peace and love and light to the family. Positive vibrations all the time, brother. You, Toy says we have to create space to train our people to be critical thinkers, and that's what this space is. Toy, we already created it. The job's done. Let me bring up the banner again so that I want to reinforce this over and over and over and over and over today. And further shares, the struggle's already done. We've done it already. We're already unified because the source is already there. It's been there. You can tap into the source. All you got to do is do the deep breathing and the unity will take place. It's our default state. Unity is our default state. When you let go of everything else, unity is what comes together. Right? Chaos is when we start operating through this mind. When I say chaos, I mean just the randomness. In reality, is when we start observing from these two eyes and our senses. We get caught up in the world. We're going outwards. And outwards is multiplicity, which means it's just numerousness of it. So you go into the differentiation of it, if you follow what I'm saying. But you can always tap back into the source by just doing deep breathing. I don't know if we're taking that fully in, so I'm gonna keep reinforcing it. The struggle's already done. Let's go back to the comments. Pull that up. We got right. Tori says so the space is already created. We're here, Tori. Give thanks for being present. Tell me who you brought along with you. If you haven't brought somebody already with you, bring somebody into the space. The current systems do not allow this. I think do not allow this because she said allow this. Do not allow this because they want to control and keep us in the dark. Yes, they want to keep us in the dark. We've been in the dark for a long time. I'm not saying the giants have returned, right? Because it came to me when meditating on the megaliths that are spread about the planet. These megaliths, which is just giant stones, right, carved out or shaped. And a lot of them represent these deities, or some say gods. Not truly under. Those are people describing us that weren't us. When we let other people describe us, they change the narrative up to fit their story. We need to tell our story, tell her story. So yesterday was about also, but we're staying on tune. When the giants return, which I'm describing right now for you from the observation within, because I'm a part of this, it's because you are taking it. And somebody else mentioned it in the comments that your aura grows. When you are tuned in, you occupy more space. You expand. When your aura is fully magnified, right? You take up more space. You become a giant again. Now, the Asiatics represented it through Buddha. They used to create that. They used to have that their statues with the big belly. I said, but the deep, that was emphasizing the deep breathing. All they were saying is the way to become a Buddha, to unify, is by doing deep breathing. That's all that statue represents. The Buddha happiness, all of them really, but the Buddha happiness definitely demonstrates that clearly. It's got this big belly. It's not from food. It's from deep breathing, abdominal, diaphragmatic breathing. And giants, and other more ancient systems used to represent it by creating these big megaliths. Not to say that these pharaohs or whatnot were some somebody to be worshipped in that sense. No, they would. My meditation. This is what came through the meditation. No, they were saying that these people, the auras were great. They were giants on this earth, and they had an impact across the whole globe. So I just wanted to tap in that real quick. That we are restoring that. It's taking place now, and it's already happened. That's just manifested. Give thanks for that, Tori. Marcy, I'm not sure, Mary. Yeah, Marcy, I think you was referring to the fact that you are Mary Magdalene, and your name carries that energy, and you're the prayer warrior. I think that's God knew by naming you. Yes, give thanks for that. Canterbury, DM Richardson, blessing in awareness, food for soul and thought. Yes, hail the goddess. I trust the goddess, the lioness. In the lions, it's the lioness that does the hunting. She goes out and brings the food back, and they hunt in packs. Come on, give thanks, amen, Mary. Yes, powerful. Hail, what's it, Brian? Yes, give thanks, brother Brian. Give thanks. Hail up. Toy says yes, exactly. I think he was referring to. I'm not sure exactly what you're referring to. Let me not guess. Camila's on board, supporting it. Yes, give thanks. Prayer, purse, the humility purse. I do this out of humility. I'm giving thanks for you being here, for being a part of this, for Selah, in the sense that it's already done. So it be. Amen. So it be. That term, amen, so it be, because it's already done. We just got to return back to the source. Deep breathing again. Tune in and give thanks. Yes. Let's make this happen. So tracking back, talk all these things. I just wanted to catch up in our comments and make sure we ain't falling too far behind them, because you're a part of the show. You're part of the program, a part of what we're doing. Let's get into this some heavy science. If you ain't a part of heavy science, because it's not even that heavy. Really, this is some basic pieces that should be trained in us to understand, so that we can decrypt the system, so we can decipher the system. So I'm going to reduce this really quickly for you. these steps. And you can go to History of Vaccines yourself, right? It's an educational resource by the College of Physicians of Philadelphia. Again, thanks for putting together this slide show here, right? Robert Koch, this German physician, right, 1843 to 1910, where science was still really science, where they were still doing experiments and not manipulated by money in a sense. You see, a lot of them sciences in the 1800s area, scientists in that 1800 era were much more in line. And then the cabal got hold of science and took it in the direction we are in now. Koch made an important discovery in identifying the bacteria that cause anthrax. Right? Still looking at something causing it. That idea, causation versus correlation. We'll get into it. Right? Cholera, tuberculosis at the time when understanding of microbes was just emerging. So this is Koch. And what he did, right? Koch and his friend, colleague, Frederick Loeffler, developed a method to identify disease-causing agent. And this is the issue here. This is what I want to emphasize really quickly, is that you got to do two things. You have to first identify this specimen, this agent that you're saying is causing disease, and then you have to reproduce it causing disease. It's two things, two separate things that got to take place. First, you have to isolate it. Demonstrate that this organism exists, this specimen exists. I'm gonna tell you what they're saying. This SARS-CoV-2 that causes COVID-19. It is yet to be a study that demonstrates that this specimen itself is what some people calling it the wild type. The wild type. Totally manipulating that term. The wild type is the type that's changing. I don't know how they got it now. They manipulated the whole science and saying the wild type is the original that's isolated. What are you talking? That's completely flipped. The wild type is
the use of words. It's the use of words. We're dealing with sorcerers here, sorcery. We got. They could have said anything, right? But wild. What does wild imply? Because remembering that we generally are functional illiterates. We kind of know words, but we haven't truly studied these words. Why wild? Why didn't they say original? Why didn't they say first or wild? Wild implies natural, right? So by saying wild, now natural is implied. So that connotation is now gonna mean natural is bad. And we're speaking at a very base level, right? This is the effects of language on the connotative level, meaning the assumptions that are going to be made and attributed to the subject matter through the specific use of or the specific choice of language is something that is not recognized. It's done on a subliminal level. So just by saying wild to us, or to me at least, I don't know if it's to anyone else, but it implies natural. Mm-hmm. And it also implies not in control, out of control. Right? So these connotations just lend to the amount of fear that has been cultured in people. Terms like this, wild is something to fear, it's wild, watch out, it's dangerous. These are connotations, right? They could have easily said the original strain, or they could have said anything, but they chose wild. And remember, they're choosing these words because of what they wish to communicate. We choose words based on what we want to communicate, whether it be communicating it directly or indirectly. And in this case, I believe particularly press conferences or anything of that nature, lots of attention is going to be given to which words are going to be used and what message is wanting to be communicated. So wild, I believe, was chosen specifically because how it relates to nature, how it also relates to danger, how it relates to lack of control.
Hey, yeah. That's why you're here. You bring that perspective. You bring that perspective. Hey, look, man, the struggle's done, man. We already won. We already won. Anyway, Camila comes in. She says, yes, good point. Only reference to viruses. Wild, right? Wild type. I wondered why they were using that term. Yeah. Richard Augustus, give thanks for being in this space, Richard. Richard says, who knew reading the matrix could? That's what dCyfa's about. Reading the matrix could. It's simple as knowing the definition of words. I would go further. More than definition, etymology. Look at the root of the words, particularly in English. You track it back. You can see it. It has an original connotation, and then the manipulation that and how they're using it. You know, the effective what image it conjures up in your mind. And you spoke right on it. That it on two levels. That it's natural, as she says, as it's patented. How is it even natural anyway? That's we can get into that one. Camila, you're Russian, but I know you've been up at it all morning. I woke up this morning. Camila was already in the Telegram.
We have a hard work going on, side. See,
hey, the job is done. We're done it already. We got the score together. This score is going. Hey, look, man, we're gonna dismantle this whole.
The questions are often more important than answers.
Yes, that's what science is about, right?
Science is more. There's always more questions than answers in science. Science. Once scientists find what is an answer or a conclusion, it normally raises at least 10 more questions.
At least.
If any scientists being honest within themselves, the more they learn, the more they realize that they don't know. And because
hello, because you drop it dimes. This is serious stuff. I want to make sure people get that. I don't want to interrupt your flow. Keep your flow going, but listen to this.
The more we learn, the more we realize we don't know. The act of uncovering what we call truths is the same as the act of uncovering mysteries. And when we uncover one truth, often 10 mysteries reveal themselves. And this is why science is never ending, or the pursuit of knowledge is never ending. Because really, how can one be created, ever reach the understanding of that which created it? It's not possible.
It's not possible.
It's impossible. Look at just using one of our senses, our vision. You look at the light. What we see, we only see a very small amount of electromagnetic radiation. We could say it's 0.001% of what we see is what we call light, is only a fraction of what the electromagnetic spectrum is. I don't know if you can pull up I could pull up a quick thing, just because pictures are worth 1,000 words, right?
Pull it up. I'm gonna continue.
Spectrum. I'll get it and then I'll share it. But the more we study, the more we realize we don't know. And unfortunately, our understanding of it, or our comprehension of it, is that the more we study, the more we know. For example, if we graduate with a doctorate, right, and then those with the doctorate know that they don't know, but those without the doctorate will look at those with the doctorate as though they've arrived, right? They know it all. No, this isn't the screen I wanted to share, right? However, we know just from studying that we're just uncovering more and more mysteries. So this is why science never ends. EM spectrum is, I believe, this one. Okay, you got me?
Yeah.
So we're looking at we're looking at the visible spectrum that's red to purple, red to violet, or violet to red down the bottom there, and how it's only a fraction of the electromagnetic radiation that's emitted by the sun and the moon. So honestly, if you can see everything, then you're not even seeing a fraction of what you think everything is. So you see, because we can only see light, right? We can only experience the visible spectrum with our eyes.
I just want to touch you real quick. It's definitely a dime right there, but that is grossly over magnified.
Over magnified.
That little spectrum right there represents such a tiny slice. This graph, if it was to scale, would be so infinitely small.
Infinitely small.
Right. If you're basing it on wavelength.
Exactly. Infinitely small. We couldn't even really represent it in a graph. It's so small. It's similar to how we live on this rock we call Bermuda collectively. But you can't see it on a map. Right. That's how small it is. The word Bermuda is the letter B on a map is bigger than the island that's represented on that map. So that's just to use it as an analogy, right? That the more we think we know, the more we will realize that we don't actually know, do we?
This is it. You're tapping into the bangers. That I just wanted to emphasize. There's the little numbers, the coefficients or the powers that are next to the numbers, right? This is I believe a logarithmic scale. And in order to represent it, you had to put those numbers in it so that you could see this graph, right?
Right.
Otherwise, it would be as big as probably the whole island.
Probably the whole island, and the part that is called the visible spectrum would still be less than the width of one of the lines that's on this.
That's on that, and that's the visible spectrum.
And that's the visible spectrum. So we can, and that's just using our eyes, right? So you can take the same principle and apply it to what we hear. We only hear a very small or part of the spectrum of sound. We only can taste a very small part of the spectrum of flavor. Smell as well, touch as well. So even combining all our senses, we can only experience very little of creation.
That is ridiculously heavy. I don't know if everybody is grasping all of that. You're touching on some serious pieces. I just want to go to comment real quick. Richard says you won't get that knowledge, right, that you're demonstrating right here by traditional paths. Obviously, this brother had to go and do some studying himself. He's going through some definitely university. You are a engineer, right?
I did study engineering, so I do have a scientific, traditional or traditional scientific background, but it really took me learning traditionally and then coming out of that traditional schooling to be able to come back to it and apply it to life, meaning all the information that was given was given to me or I had learned through traditional modern schooling had to be revisited after I left the schooling system. Meaning once I had so-called arrived, gotten that degree, then learning started to take place. So it was after school that I started to really learn. I don't know if that makes sense.
It makes total sense. It makes total sense. You good?
Yeah, exactly. So, well, look at it this way. You got 360 degrees in a circle. And if you go through so-called schooling and you get a degree, that's 1 degree. That's not even, that's barely an angle in the circle. There's barely one perspective in that full 360-degree circle. So it doesn't. It's a degree is no real significant measure, is it? Not for a full understanding of anything. One degree is only one perspective, and there's at least 300 perspectives, and that's in 2 dimensions. If we're in a 3-dimensional reality, then we're really talking about 720 degrees.
Stop it!
So, so first we must calm our own pride and all our sin, right? Because we all have sin. Sin just means without, right? Then we can focus on within, where the real education comes from, where the real knowledge, because there's nothing new under the sun. And I agree with that cliche 100%. That means the real knowledge is within. It's imprinted in our genetic material. So the real learning can take place through true education, which is drawing out, which is what you already have within you. I want to finish this particular rant with this one realization that I had a little while ago, and I'll give the example of when someone loses your keys. If anyone here has ever had a set of keys, you lost them before. Am I right or wrong? Well, even if I'm wrong, I'm right in my experience. I lose things occasionally. Maybe. Sorry.
Pose it again.
Okay, so if anyone in this study group has lost a set of keys, or has earned a set of keys, then they've lost a set of keys before. Am I right or wrong?
Right.
But when you find those keys, there's a feeling that you get physiologically or emotionally or both, and it's the same. Well, from my experience, because I can only really truly speak with my own experience, and I can assume that others have experienced it, have also experienced it. The physiological feeling that you get, or that I got, or that I get when I find something that I have lost, is the same feeling that I get when I learn something new. The common way of pictorially describing it is that light bulb in the thought cloud. When that light bulb clicks on, and it's a physiological feeling, that enlightenment that we get when we find something that we've lost. We even occasionally remember putting it there when we find it. Well, it's that same, when I learn something new in my studies, it's the same feeling. So what that's telling me is that I actually already knew it. I'm just remembering it. So if I learn a new mathematical formula, or I read a new mathematical formula, or it's new, I think it's new, but I don't quite get it until I practice it, and then I get it. It's already been in me. I just had to practice it so I could resonate with that memory again, and now I remember it. So learning something new and remembering something old is really the same thing.
Hey, look, man, you gotta ease these people up, you know. Because I'm not sure if they're really grasping what you broke down just now.
Well, I mean, it's sorry, go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say the relationship, that connection between those two sensations, and that they represent the same thing. Thus, you can make that equation like I'm got here, InI equals each one equals. You created another equation. I'll put it into a banner in a second, right? that just like losing your keys, you're the master. Your nickname's the master of analogy because you have the ability to simplify things with real world explanations. That the other day I was lost in my own words trying to find how I'm going to explain this concept of exponential growth with the with the PCR substrates. And he just broke it down and said, look at simplicity. Now you did it again in a level that I'm not sure everybody's appreciating. Finding your keys after you lost them, right? If you have keys, you lost keys. That's the first part of the equation. You have keys, you lost keys. Losing something, right? You're finding it again. It's the same sensation when you find your keys. That's if I'm just reiterating your words, but I just because I'm grasped it. I'm wondering if everybody else has grasped it. You know what I mean? Just put a thumbs up if you appreciated that analogy. Put a heart if you really truly appreciated that analogy. That it's the same feeling when you learn something new. Because it's you're remembering it. You feel I knew this already. I've been here. I've done this already. There's nothing new under the sun. I'm just remembering.
Remember that prefix we can call it just means again, and member is to join, right? Something membered is something joined, and to remember is to join again, which means it's been joined already.
Hey, look, you break words down and create these analogies. Yes, give thanks. Very profound analogies. I'm telling you, what the shift has already happened. We already manifested this, but we're just going over this again. We've done this before, people. We've been in this situation before where humanity is being flipped on us, and we had to remember now how to get back to the source. And that's all we're doing. That's all this process is. And you're painting it out and laying this out as if we rehearsed this. It's just ridiculous how the synchronicity is taking place on in the conversations, and that everybody's aboard being if you're in the room and you're a part of this. I mean, if you're in the room, you're a part of this. That's what I wanted to say. You're a part of this. Everybody else watching it later on in the future, right? You're recapping. And you got a lot to recap. But if you're in the room, yes, give thanks. Jan Young she's got a thumbs up. Yes, this is significant. What we're doing here is significant. We're remembering. We're putting it all back together so that we can save humanity. I really think that's the task we're doing. We're going to dismantle colonialism and the system that was set up and is doing a good job of reducing humanity to an economic perspective only, so that you focus on that and forget the life part, forget the living part, right? To the point that you would think in order to solve our solution, we need to focus on locking us down to solve your solution, not freeing us. What you need to do is freeing us. The only way to reach what they call herd immunity is to let the people free and train the immune systems. We're gonna tap into those things. But what you did just now was magnificent. I just want to give thanks for being in this space myself. For being a part of this, as you just broke down.
I give thanks too, and it's not really me doing it. You know, it's my ancestors working through me, right? Because I'm still here learning. I'm forever a student. You know, with the Moorish Institute, we're all students, and we have study groups. There's no teachers in that particular organization. We're actually all students, and we are so far behind as humanity that we can expect to reach where we need to reach in one lifetime. It's gonna take multiple generations to get to where we got in multiple generations. So by that way, we have to each take the responsibility of standing in the I don't know position. And if we can stand in the I don't know position, that really opens doors in every direction, so that we can build our foundation of knowledge again, that we can move forward from. Because we're standing on some shaky foundation, making some pretty dangerous decisions based on a lack of knowledge. I wouldn't say information, but a lack of knowledge. And knowledge is only going to be attained by giving form to information. And giving form to information is only attained through our God-given ability to practice logic and reasoning. But we need the ingredients to build the cake, right? If we're only being given flour, we're not going to build cake, and we're not going to build the best cake. We need to be given all the types of flour, all the types of sugar, all the types of eggs, and from all the types of salt, and then choose which combinations of which is going to build us the cake that we need to eat. But if we've only been given one type of flour, one type of sugar, one type of eggs, and then we make a cake that we need to eat from it, and then the cake that we eating from it is not healthy, we're blaming cake for not being healthy. When really the problem was the ingredients. We gotta choose some better ingredients to build this cake from, because it's not the cake that's not healthy or the idea of cake, it's the ingredients we're using to build the cake. So censorship is a bad thing in that respect, because without being able to get multiple choice of ingredients, we're not going to be able to build a healthy cake or bake some healthy bread.
Hey, look, man. I'm telling you, ease them up, and you just keep coming with more and more analogies. Let them catch the
I find that analogy is really the only way we can explain creation. We can't explain it directly because we don't have that capacity. But we can explain we can explain creation, for lack of a better term, through the different yet the same examples given to us. Analogies hold up because there's nothing new under the sun. Everything is analogous. Everything is connected. And if we study nature long enough, we'll start to see the similarities between our surroundings and ourselves, for example. So the analogies, I use analogy because analogy is how I understand creation and how creation is explained to me every day through the best educator, which is nature.
Yes. Look, I was telling you ease them up, and then you went back again.
Sorry.
Let me get to some comments. Let me cut you off. Get to some comments and let that marinate in the minds of everybody that's in this room right now. Give thanks for everybody here. Courtney says, "Look, how can I get into the Moorish group?" So he's sending that directly to you. And how can I link up? I know directly. You can join the Telegram, and I could put you through to Moorish, and we could conduct it through that sovereignty group where we could make that into like
I'm good with continuing on with the platforms that you've set up, Iman.
Yeah, let's build it out. Let's keep building from there. Toy says, key point, ancestors definitely working through and through you, right? And all of us, which I'm gonna definitely say with this, we pull that up. This says that same thing. The ancestors, InI also refers to the ancestors. It refers to each of us and the ancestors, because without them, there is no us, right? The we, huh? There is none. Toy goes on. Kimberly says humility first. I wanted to tap in that really quickly because that's what it is, right? When you step in the I don't know position, so that there's always this discovery taking place. We're always in this phase of discovery, of remembering. You have to make yourself humble first. You have to open your mind up. That's it. Literally, when people say, "Oh, you got to open mind," but then they start chatting about what they know. Then you don't have an open mind. Open mind means you submitted to the fact that you don't know, huh? So that you can always receive the information. You can't do this. You can't do this. Say, give me knowledge. I'm trying to get it with this reverse. Claire's hair, right? You take your hand, Claire, and say, "Yeah, give me knowledge."
See, your hands tight. Your hands tight right now, right? And yes. Tight and taught is the past. Is it participle of tight?
Yes.
Right. Of to make tight, and people have been very well taught and we have a lot of taught people in decision-making positions, right? Very tight. So you can't tell them anything. You can't tell them anything. They already know, right? They made it. They have the certifications, and that's we without certifications cannot tell them anything. They are well taught, tight, cannot move in another direction. And we can't blame people themselves either, because like the scriptures will tell us that the actual battle is with principalities and powers in high places, and a principality and a power is not necessarily the human holding that position. It's the position itself. So I know David Byrd has been taking a lot of beating, you know what I mean, and he's getting a lot of hate as well. But if it wasn't David Byrd, it'd be somebody else. It's really not the individual, the person themselves, because we can as people ourselves make another man's decision for them. We don't know what position they stand in, why they're making the decisions they make. They're individuals, but we can give thanks for the fact that David Byrd, in one of his more recent streams, I guess you can call it. I'm not really sure. I guess it was a press conference.
Yeah,
online press conference, was dropping some more information. He dropped those words about having a low viral load. Right. This is new. This is new information to a lot of people, and it offered more ammunition for those who want to challenge the narrative to go and research. Now we have another point that we can use against the common narrative and the conjecture and whatnot that is being brought forward. So we have to look at we have to what we say, eat the fish and spit out the bones, because there's truth and false. The noble the prophet Noble Drew Ali, the honorable prophet, he had a statement that he put out that the truth and falsehood are strangely mixed, and that's always true. There is good and bad in all situations. And the best thing we can do is accept the good and bad together and spit out the bones, right? We're not always going to get our fish filleted. Sometimes we have to take the fish as it's given. You know what I mean? It's still got the guts and the bones all in it. We got to do the work if you want to get the most out of that fish.
Hey, look, man. That is another piece. That's another piece. Look, everybody's in tune. This is happening. We're creating this environment where we can share freely, where we can hold our elected and appointed leaders, or I don't even call them leaders anymore, officials, because we're giving them titles, but they're not representing that leadership that we should look to, as in Noble Drew Ali or His Imperial Majesty or any of our ancestors before that embraced that unity, right? That had already been aligned with the source and manifested it in their way. You know what I mean? Through the knowledge they left and they forced to bring back into the field and bring back into the equation. When it's happening, it's happening. LED, this is a first. Welcome to dCyfa. LED says, if we say history repeats itself, right? If so, we have a change to not just read it as a story, right? But possibly we can change it. We add out.
So not just read it, but write it too.
But not just read it, but write it too. Because we've done it already. Yes, give thanks for this. Give thanks for look, it's already, we're going way across 11, 12. This is what I'm saying. We set up from 9 till 11 as a general framework, but it's consistently we're going heavier and heavier, further and further. Do you want us to keep going is what I'm asking. He says, I mean, chance to change it, right? We have the chance to change it. Yes, give thanks, LED. Give thanks for being here.
Oh yes, peace and love. Give thanks for the input, LED. Did you want to go continue on going on with Cox postulates?
Yes, yeah, that's what I want to know. If the people, I'm asking, do you want me to continue on with Cox postulates? You had enough for today? Are you full or are you hungry? Because physically you need to eat. Do you want to take a break and come back? That's another thing I was going to pose. Do we want to go on lunch breaks and come back at this a little later? Because, well, most, somewhat on lockdown, we got the day. Do we want to come back at this around 2 o'clock or something like that? You know what I mean? Take a break at 12. And then, because we got so much, look, I'm got pages and pages. I'm only going on one. I ain't even going through the first slide on that particular, the Cox postulates. But when we go into establishing the actual specimen that they talk of as SARS-CoV-2, right? That they say they identified, we're gonna demonstrate that was only done on a computer. It was never, as far as any study has been established. And I did a meta-analysis of this, means reviewing other people that did the reviewing, right? And it doesn't exist. The original isolation. And we're going to go in and lay that all out. So maybe we'll come back later on this afternoon while after I finish this Cox postulates. So let me know. Give me some comments if you want us to keep going on to 12. Do you want to take a break now and come back to 2? Because we ain't even, it's at least, it's 4 principles of Cox, or 4 postulates under, what's it called? Cox postulates are 4 principles. I don't know. Use the same word to describe the same word. Do you want us to keep going through these 4 postulates of Cox postulates? Or do you want us to take a break, come back after 2 o'clock, come back at 2? That's what we got. Come back at 2. Who else who wants to hear that? We take a break now, come back at 2 o'clock and resume this process, because we just got into, let me pull it up on the screen again. We were just getting into, okay, Mary says, I agree with Camilla. So let's take a break now, do some lunch, do some different things, because I had just started to introduce it. And we're going so heavy into the essence of reality and our senses and how much of reality we even have ability to perceive, right? We already covered all of that today in the morning part. So let's come back. I think we got, yes, break it up, especially after you said it earlier. It looks like if it looks too long, people will not listen, right? So let's split this up. Let's come back in at 2 o'clock and get more people on board. So we're going to be back here. I don't know if Morris will be available in the afternoon.
I'll make myself available. If I may input real quick, if you finish with an introduction of Cox postulates, if you finish with that, then we can come back primed to continue with that. So if I don't know if you want to go ahead through the first, second, third, and fourth, just reading them, and so that it can sit on our minds. And sit on our minds as we take it. So I'm pretty sure people are in agreement to that. You're here. Let's do to 11:30. Let's get this finished. I'm gonna do 10, 15 more minutes. Cover this so we don't leave this halfway done, half baked. You know what I mean? Let's bake this, and then we're gonna come back and hit the heavy part of whether this virus was ever isolated. I see people getting out of the room. Maybe they're already going, but who's still here? I'm gonna go over it and maybe reiterate it again. If you're still here, I'm gonna go real quick and finish this up, and then we'll come back at 2 o'clock. So be here or be square. And you don't want to miss out with when we go into the heavy part of whether this thing ever existed in the first place. So let's jump into this. So essentially, these 4 principles, these 4 benchmarks that have to be achieved to attribute disease causation, the causation of, as it says, the cause of an infectious disease, right? In order to establish that some entity, some specimen that you've discovered is the actual cause of disease, not correlation. I want to make that really clear. It takes a lot of work to go from correlation to causation. And that's the issue here. That's why it's got these 4 postulates that came up with when science was still science. Right? It goes on to say, right, the first one, the microbe is present in each case of the disease. This is the first level. This is just the first level, right? You have to be able to demonstrate that from the healthy animal to the infected animal, this
focal whatever it is, a bacteria or this proposed virus, because viruses are a theory. I want to emphasize that even germs are a theory still, but viruses are definitely still a theory, and we're going to go into that a little bit this afternoon. But the point is that whatever you're looking for, it still has to be present in the infected animal, right? Whatever you're saying the cause, whatever the disease and the symptoms are, you have to find it present in every animal. That's just the first postulate, right? Number two, the microbe can be taken from the infected host and grown independently. This is a big piece. This takes time, a degree of time. Bacteria tends to multiply. You can leave it overnight and come back. If you provided the substrate, which is the and I keep using substrate when I'm referring to the specimen, and make that clear. You have the specimen and you have the substrate. The substrate is the most times an agar gel. You see the blue substance that is at the bottom of this petri dish. That agar gel will have some nutrient source in there, and then you're gonna inoculate it with what you think is causing the disease, right? And you're gonna have some food or nutrition in there in order for it to grow, right? And agar is a type of algae, right? And it provides the nutrients and the substrate, the actual material for it to grow in, right? Petri dishes are still used in science today, and this was used way back in the 1800s when science was still science, right? The third step. So those two are really difficult in itself, and they haven't been demonstrated so far with any virus. I'm gonna tell you, it's really difficult doing this. Third, the disease can be produced by introducing a pure culture of the microbe into a healthy host, right? This is a big one. The third postulate: the disease can be produced or reproduced, right, over and over, because you got to do this repeatedly to come to some sort of consensus. Okay, this is the thing that's causing the disease, because it's really difficult to isolate some specimen, a microscopic specimen, and keep it from other being contaminated. This is the issue. So you got to repeat this. This takes time, years of study to go through this process. Each of these steps, each of these postulates, when you're trying to attribute disease causation, not correlation, disease causation with some new specimen, some new bacterial or fungal or whatever source, takes time, energy, resources to get to that point. That's the third step, right? So you reproduce it. So you have here: A, bacteria are isolated from the culture. Remember that word, isolated. Big piece. B, bacteria are introduced to a healthy experimental animal, right? And then C, the experimental animal becomes ill with that disease. Now you still got to, so in postulate 1, you describe the disease. You took that sample and now reproduced it in a new healthy individual, right? Over and over. And this is repeated over and over, right? These are known as asymptomatic carriers, right? What it said, hold on, let me read that from the beginning. One exception to C is that some individuals may harbor disease-causing microbes and not show signs of the disease. So you have to attribute that also. These are known as asymptomatic carriers. So they may have it, but they don't show the signs. So you have to have that. That's one exception in there. This is science. So you have to have that question in there, the possibility for what they call a control at times. So this is not even described the control, but asymptomatic carriers kind of fulfill that role in a sense. And then the fourth one, the microbe can be isolated and identified from the host infected in step 3. So you got to this is the reproducing part again, right? So now you have the healthy individual that was reinfected, shared the disease state. Now you're taking another sample from that specimen, and you're able to now cultivate it again. and demonstrate it and reproduce it and go over and over and over. After about, I'm going to tell you, in science, after about 1,000 repetitions of this, you start to come to the conclusion, hey, maybe this is what is actually causing what we think is the disease. That's when science is taking place, when you're going through these 4 postulates, right? This is not an easy process. None of this is easy. None of this is easy. Okay? So I wanted to run through that really quickly. The amount of time this takes years to go through that process and say that organism caused this disease in this individual, and then you're reproducing it over and over through going through these 4 postulates. So we got that there, laid that out. These are known as Cox postulates. Yes, time consuming. Tor, you've been in laboratory. You know very well. You spent your time. You know Howard's laboratories and what it takes. If you spent any time doing research, it's time consuming. Resources, energy, scientists, busy, working to be able to make that, to go through these steps that we just described there. This is nothing easy. It don't happen in 48 hours. I'm going to tell you that. And that's where we start to uncover some of the real deeper issues with what's taking place around us. So I'm going to pull this up a little bit and go to a little bit of general description before we pull out. And we're going to come back here too. So we're going to go get lunch and we'll come back in. I'm going to finish up with this last little 5 minutes and paint that picture and recap. So we started off giving thanks for the sisters for being present, for the yesterday, for being courageous to come out and testify. I'm going to put it out there for everybody. You can come back into the space, join the Telegram groups, and we put up the Telegram links for people. You can reach, in general, you can link the Telegram dCyfa groups through this link here. Right, pretty simple to put up, and you can reach the specific Telegram group, that's discussion group around this specific topic, right? Which is, we started off with war evidence, bio-war evidence, or bio-warfare. That group, we're digging in deep, we're sharing information. Camilla is very heavy in that group. We got Nubia Rich putting a lot of information in there. It's a lot of sharing taking place. Get involved in that. So you got those links there. We want you we want to give thanks for the sisters for coming forward and sharing courage. But anybody that is in our community that wants to testify by either presenting what the experience has been so far, or they want to present some evidence that they want to share, that they did research and they got the sources, you can get the links and you can come in. I'll do a new one for this afternoon. I'm not going to use the same one. I'm going to do 5B, day 6B, because we're coming back at it again today. Still day 6, but the second version, or part 2. I'm sorry, I'll call it part 2. So come back in. Anybody's open to come in and testify and share the any knowledge they attain through the research with the sources, right? And if they just want to testify what their experiences is, maybe they're recovered, they've had exposure to the virus in one shape or form, or the proposed virus. They've been vaccinated. On we're opening up. We'll be open to you too if you're participating in any of the groups that were shared yesterday, and yesterday's sharing that was taking place on Facebook, and you've joined some of the groups that are being engaged in Facebook, and you was involved in that. That data is being collected there specifically for the recovered and the accepted information from if you're experiencing any type of symptoms from the vaccine or whatnot. You can get involved in those groups, or you can come in here and testify and give to these proceedings. Because what we are doing here, no, not all of it. What we are doing here is this is the People's Commission of Inquiry into Bermuda's pandemic response, right? That's being dictated to us. And we are presenting this and giving you this forum so that you can speak up, so that we can come together and unify under the banner of tapping into the source. So that's why we do breathing meditation at the beginning, and that's why we run these rhythms, these heavy rhythms where the consciousness has already been there. We're already been there, done that. Because this music, most of the music we run took place in the 80s and the 90s, huh? When there was a freer use of cannabis and other materials that assisted this process, or the mind state was just closer to it, huh? So in that light, I'm gonna bring up this other tune. Listen to this tune; it's so powerful, and we're gonna rinse some more out throughout the afternoon. But this one is so powerful. Which one should I go into? You know what? They want the theme for today, right? This tune. Listen to this tune. Listen to these lyrics. Take it in as we close out this morning session. We come back after lunch. Listen to these lyrics. See you this afternoon.
Would you like to come with me? I'm going to my promised land. Nicoletta, would you love to come with me? The promised land is not Australia. Promised land is not Europa. Promised land is not America. Promised land is a state of mind. I said a promised land is not the Philippines. I tell you, promised land is not Bahamas. Promised land is not Colombia. Promised land is a state of mind. Oh, hey. I'm going to my promised land. Would you like to come with me? I'm going to my promised land. Yeah, wouldn't you love to come with me? I'm going to my promised land. Sensei Melvin Brown, would you like to come with me? I'm going to my promised land. Nicoletta, would you love to come with me? What is this life if full of care? No time to stand and no time to stare. I said no time to stand in broad daylight and stare as long as sheep or cows. The days are coming when Jah will send a famine through the land. Not a famine of food, nor thirst for water, but a famine of hearing the words of the Most High God. Harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. Whoa, whoa. Men will stagger from sea to sea and wander from the north to the east, searching for the word of the Most High God. Oh gosh, I said people will travel around all over the whole wide world, searching for the truth, but they will never find it. Cause the promised land is not in Africa. I tell you, the promised land is not Jamaica.
I said a promised land is not America. Promised land is a state of mind. The promised land is not in India. Promised land is not in Russia. Promised land is not Japan, yo. Promised land is a state of mind. Oh, hey. I'm going to my promised land. Would you like to come with me? I'm going to my promised land. Yeah, wouldn't you love to come with me? Yeah. I'm going to my promised land. Sensei Melvin Brown, would you like to come with me? Yeah. I'm going to my promised land. Nicoletta, would you love to come with me? Hey, promised land, promised land, promised land. Promised land is a state of mind. Promised land, promised land, promised land. Oh, mama, promised land is a state of mind. I said the promised land I'm talking about is not situated on earth. Yeah, promised land is a state of mind.